Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation, Start Now 7 Digital Initiatives for Manufacturers. Thank you for taking the time out for being here today. A couple of housekeeping items that I wanted to go over as we get started. It's going to be a quick 30-minute session today, and I'll be monitoring the live Q&A feed. You can access the Q&A feed on the right-hand side of your feed. Also, we'll be recording the session, so don't worry if you miss anything. I'll be sending out this recording. Today, I have with me two thought leaders from our Shift7 team, Randy Higgins, our Chief Strategy Officer, and Andrew Walker, our CEO. So without ado, I'll let you kick it off and get started, Andrew.
Okay, great. Thanks, Krissa, and thanks everybody out there for joining. We've got an exciting 30 minutes today. I feel very happy and very fortunate to have you all here. Shift7 has had an extensive history of helping manufacturers and B2B companies adapt to disruption. We call it the shift. And the last few years, I've actually given a presentation that starts with this slide right here. I talk about disruption is happening, or it will happen literally in every sector, every industry. There's really no way to stop it. And just the way the world works, and it's inevitable. Some are surprised, some are caught off guard, some have a trouble surviving, and others thrive. And we, unfortunately, are in a disruption that most of us, maybe all of us, didn't see coming, and it is here right now. The last few weeks have brought more and faster disruption to our personal lives and businesses than we've ever seen. Across most of our clients, these organizations are being forced to adapt to new realities faster than ever before. And so we wanted to talk to you about that today. For some, this is the reaction. Holy. Others have this reaction. I'm losing my blank. Others are pulling their hair out and just can't seem to take it anymore. And we've all had these sort of moments for sure. So what should you do? What should I do? And we wanted to talk a little bit about that with you all today in short order. We've spent some time, our leadership team here at Shift7, looking into our crystal ball, and we have thought about a prediction. And I'm confident, very confident in this prediction, that in 7 months, we all will be this guy for Halloween, Joe Exotic from Tiger King. And that's really the only prediction that I feel confident with. But in all seriousness, I found this article the other day that I thought would be good to share with this group from McKinsey, and it was titled "Bubbles Pop, Downturns Stop." And there was a quote in there that I really liked a lot that I thought resonated with the times, with B2B and manufacturing companies, which are, I'll read it to you, which is, economic downturns are impossible to predict, and they're sure as sunrise. Build resilience now, because when the sun comes up, and it will come up, you better be moving. You better be moving because the time is now, folks. I'm confident that the time is now to be thinking about what's next. What is your new normal? And so for many people right now, they're being very thoughtful and pragmatic and conservative with their personal, professional, and corporate behaviors. But how are you preparing? And we want to talk about that today. On a personal front, a lot of you are doing this. You're stocking up and you're preparing. I really like this woman here with the blue glove who clearly didn't want her photo taken based on the preparation that she was clearly exhibiting in her cart. But are you ready? Are you ready for what's next? And there will be a new normal. I'm confident that the new normal will have some shift to a more customer-centric shift, something that's more digital touch point focused. I don't know what that looks like, but making sure that you're prepared to adapt and be flexible to that, I'm fairly confident about. And so, you know, a simple point that preparation today leads to success tomorrow. And I feel very honored that we not only have opportunity to talk to you all and share some perspectives, but we have at Shift7 some really long-standing clients in the manufacturing space that are already driving new ways to engage with their clients and partners through digital experiences. And today we're going to share with you 7 initiatives that you can do right now, very specific initiatives that you can get started with in some form or fashion. And so without further ado, I'll pass it to our Chief Strategy Officer, Randy Higgins, to walk you through those 7. So thanks for having us here today and joining us. Randy, over to you.
Thanks so much, Andrew, and disruption indeed. And the key question is, how do you prepare? As Andrew said, we've had the opportunity as some of this work from home realization was setting in to reach out to many of our manufacturing clients, as well as field a lot of inbound calls from them to really get an understanding of where they were in the marketplace, what challenges they were specifically facing, and be able to share back some of our experiences and do a lot of peer-to-peer sharing. And out of those conversations, we were able to compile our Start Now 7 list of initiatives that we believe are critical for manufacturers to get going on. And so without further ado, I am going to dive into each of these and hopefully give everyone here a little insight into some things that they can do to help mitigate this disruption. First and foremost, your stakeholders have a lot of questions. And the big thing is, are you able to provide the answers? And if you are not, then the way that you can do that at scale is with an FAQ microsite. Whether it's employees, distributors, partners, customers, getting your information out there in a timely manner, telling customers that you're open for business is critical. I think every leadership book says that the key to crisis management is frequent communication. Here you're seeing an example of one of our partners who's been very proactive in communicating out to their stakeholders and has seen a lot of disruption through cancellation of live events and is keeping everyone informed with a simple place to go and get the information that they need. The second challenge that we're seeing is that a lot of brick and mortar branches and retailers are closed for business. So your ability to merchandise and showcase your product in a physical environment is gone overnight. And the question becomes, are your products findable online? Now's the time to get your digital product content in order. We don't want anyone to have customers that look like this guy. So the next key initiative is to get product visibility everywhere. And just what does that mean? It means that all of your digital resellers need to have full information about your products so that customers can find the right product and then purchase it seamlessly. And just as an example of that, we've got a example here of an Amazon page for a company that we work with that sells PPE. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of demand for that. And because of the flexibility of digital content, we're able to tailor messages directly to the current market and really give an enriched experience to the customer as they're shopping for the right product to keep their employees protected. Next, we see that often with disruption comes new opportunity. Don't be closed for business. I'm sure some of you have a few boxes that look like this on your front porch. And the fact is that online shopping is taking over right now. I can't tell you though how many times I've heard, we can't sell direct because it will make our distributors mad. Now's the time to stand up direct commerce. Channels and buying are both disrupted right now, and it's a perfect opportunity to get your customers the product they need. And as Andrew's often said, have your own thing. So, you know, a simple way to do this, get your top 20 products online and available for purchase through a simple e-commerce store that you can transact directly with your customers. This is a good example of an industrial manufacturer of abrasives and welding equipment who's selling online now, and some promotional activity that they have around it. And this is a storefront that was stood up simply with some key products that are high volume to drive revenue streams into their business in the short term, and to mitigate some of their channel disruption. Thanks. Next challenge, supply chains are interrupted, deliveries are delayed, availability changes constantly. Oh, how do you keep your customers informed of all of this disruption? Allow your customers to pull the most up-to-date information through a self-service portal. And what does this mean? It means critical information such as delivery dates, invoicing information, back orders on product, order status can be at your customer's fingertips. This is an example of a food ingredient manufacturer that we work with who's been very proactive in giving their customers up-to-date information, allowing them to log in and pull any information they need, and is seeing a tremendous offload of activity in their call centers that they were getting so much volume that they couldn't keep up with it, as well as driving customer satisfaction by giving the most up-to-date information. Thanks. Next, unfortunately, these types of interactions aren't available to any of us right now. The ability to allow your sales team to be in the field, talking directly to customers, helping them to solution is just not in existence. But your sales team still needs the insight and the content to identify and solve key customer problems. We've heard from many manufacturers that they have shifted their entire marketing effort right now to sales support. And the key to making this effective is to build an infrastructure in place that drives efficiency and scalability to that. You cannot answer every sales rep's questions. And so platforms and technology are available to help you as a marketing team to get the right insights and information out to your sales team so that they can effectively sell to their customers. Next, unfortunately, even though we're all in a world of social distancing, it doesn't mean that things are going to stop breaking. Hopefully not quite this bad, but nonetheless, there's lots of maintenance activity that still needs to happen with capital equipment, etc. You need to be able to offer access to parts, accessories, and service online. Stand up a parts and accessory portal and make sure that you can service your customers as they are trying to keep their business continuity going. In many cases, this is a high margin, sustaining revenue stream for your business, and being able to get this direct to your customers will continue to drive customer engagement and revenue for your company. And finally, for many of you, this is trade show season and a tremendous driver of your business development activity. With so many events and other offline marketing opportunities unavailable to us, now's the time to lean into digital marketing. Get loud and go where your customers are right now, and that's online. So use targeted outreach. Your website is your #1 salesperson in this current environment, and you need to make sure that they're getting the traffic that they deserve. So leverage targeted digital marketing activities, including search and display advertising, affiliate marketing, and marketing automation outreach campaigns in order to drive traffic to your #1 salesperson. So finally, I'm going to leave you with this thought. While many of these initiatives do require a sustaining effort and investment, every single one of these can be implemented in a form quickly to start driving immediate business results. The fact is that with cloud technologies and agile solutions, we're able to help companies to get started driving value immediately. And the time is now, as Andrew said, to get yourself prepared. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Andrew for some closing thoughts on Outlook and how these initiatives are helping customers. Thanks.
That's great. Thanks, Randy. So appreciate the efficiency of the 7. Again, the specificity is what we wanted to bring to this group. So what's next? In the spirit of what could be next, I would love it. I would love it if this was next. I don't know when this is going to happen again. God knows there were so many of us that had conferences and trade shows and events and meetings and trips that we had where this was going to be a very simple gesture. And I hope for all of us this moment of a handshake happens again really soon. But it could look like this for a while. This could be what's next. And look at this guy with the great setup. Double monitor, video cam, just ready to rock and roll. And I think that the uncertainty in front of us is going to be there for a little while. But with change, I like to say, brings opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to all do the things that we were maybe wanting to do, and maybe this is forcing us to do them sooner. In the spirit of some optimism and hope and positivity, there's a lot of things that I think are right around the corner, whether it's call it a bounce back or a rebound, but just this one article that was even just a week and a half ago or so, or 2 weeks ago, that got published around China, 75% back, and other countries that have gone through this pre-United States are starting to come back. So I don't know if it will be a quarter for us. I'm hoping Q2, for those that have a fiscal calendar year, is sort of the lion's share of the shelter in place, et cetera. But the hope is that the bounce back and the rebound happens. But I can tell you on a positivity note, this too shall pass. And for those of you out there that are having those different moments of emotion, the clouds will dissipate, the sun will shine through, and this too shall pass. And on the other side of it, is we like to think about it as a new mindset is loading. And we talked a lot about clients that Randy and I are both experiencing right now that are developing that new mindset of what is new normal. And I guess my ask and final sort of suggestion to all of you is something that we have as a mantra here at Shift7, is that's keep the go. Keep moving forward, and wherever you're at in your journey, there are great opportunities amongst this disruption right now for everyone to move forward. And so we like to say, let's go. So I appreciate all of your time today. We're going to open it up for question and answer right now. Krissa is going to guide us through that, but just wanted to say thanks for those that have joined this call. We're going to try to do this webinar on similar and related topics while we're all working from home over the next couple of weeks. And hopefully this is a helpful thing for all of you. So Krissa, over to you.
Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of questions about if this recording will be available, and yes, it will. I will be sure to share with everyone as soon as we're able to process it.
Well, that's good. Means there's helpful stuff in there.
Yep. Let's see here. We have a couple more minutes, so I'll just leave the Q&A open, and anyone who wants to submit a question, you can do so in the right-hand corner under Q&A.
Randy and I have attended a lot of webinars, like probably a lot of you have, and we always felt like being an efficient 30 minutes or less would be something to aspire to, and it sounds like we've done it. So we'll give it a few more minutes, Krista, for questions, and if not, like I said, we'll be doing this some more, and we'll bring in this group back together.
Yeah, so we have a good question. It says, you mentioned that you need to go direct to consumer. How do you suggest still working with distributors during this time?
Yeah, so I'll start with that. So the number one thing in working with distributors is getting your product content in order. I believe that was the first one I mentioned. So we're often facilitating conversations between manufacturers and resellers, whether they're distributors, marketplaces, etc. And anytime you ask a reseller partner, what's the top thing that you can do to help me? It is that I can do to help you. It is always get me more rich content. So I think the first thing is really having great content out there. In terms of channel conflict and channel disruption in going direct, usually having some good MAP pricing programs in place so that you're not violating your wholesale pricing policies is important. But the fact is that your channel is probably so disrupted right now that your opportunity to go direct is going to fly primarily under the radar. And that's why we believe the time is now to give that one a try and an experiment. Any other comments, Andrew?
Yeah, I was just going to add on your first point around reseller. You know, there's one client we're working with right now that is in a very strong position to be selling their products in today's world. A lot around equipment that is sorely needed right now, and the push to enrich that content that was fairly stale, fairly weak on reseller sites. You know, simple description, simple heading, maybe simple imagery, really light on specs. We've worked with them to enrich that, and they've seen some incredible results just within the last few months, and even more so the last few weeks, because of the direct you know, connection that their clients are making with those resellers, and basically enriching, as we call it, their product content data on those reseller sites. So, you know, the number 2 thing on the 7 list was product visibility everywhere, which is our coin phrase of just saying, get all your products up there and enrich the heck out of them. Really helps for obvious reasons, but it is a consistent sort of sore thumb in so many manufacturers' sort of distribution methods. It's a great question.
Great. So we have a couple more that have come through. The next one is, do you guys have some examples of an FAQ site? What specific questions are good to include on something like this?
Yeah, so the example we showed was actually from our partner Adobe. As many of you may be aware, they had their big summit recently, and they've done a really nice job of communication around questions that sponsors have at Summit. But I've seen the same out of other partners that we have from a software perspective. They've been very communicative with their stakeholders in terms of how how to communicate out and help their partners to navigate through this. And the same is true for manufacturers. We have a client in the building products manufacturing space, and you know, their sales team and their service team were front lines to fielding questions historically. And their chief digital officer recently told me, he said, now all of a sudden everyone's coming to me for solutions to answer all of these questions. So, you know, it can be a very simple page, and it can be curated over time as to what the key questions are. Talk to your customer service team about the types of inquiries that they're fielding, but think about all the audiences that interact with you, whether it's, again, distributors or dealers or partners or customers, and make sure that you're tailoring questions to the things that they need to have answered to provide business continuity.
Great.
Yeah, just the other thing to add to it, Chris, is I think that a lot of the retailers, unfortunately, are having to do this job around notifying of store closures and how are they handling new orders via warehouses and e-commerce. What are return policies? What are gift card policies? You know, gyms and health clubs are talking about, you know, what can we do with your membership fees, and just all the frequently asked questions you can imagine. One of the things that I saw was really nicely done was getting together all the sales reps, or at least a constituent group of them, to understand pooling together all the questions they've been receiving in the last few weeks, and then simply enlisting those questions and answers as part of the FAQ. Obviously, sometimes corporate and headquarters doesn't always get all the questions that are happening in the field, and while the field may be working from home, you know, enlisting the sales folks to say, what are the questions you're getting, and just pooling that together and refreshing that list, to Randy's point, is really powerful.
Great, thank you. So we have two more questions that I think we can kind of probably answer together. So the first one is, what do you see as the biggest challenge for manufacturers when things actually return to normal? And then the second question related also says, it will obviously take some time to ramp up a truly successful direct sales offering. Is it better to have something rather than nothing, or do we wait to launch until we can do it right? Sure.
I'll take a first pass at these, and then I'll let you also chime in, Andrew. What do we see as the biggest challenge for manufacturers when things actually return to normal? Well, I think the question is what normal becomes first and foremost. But you know, it's interesting. We were talking to a CEO the other day who had a lot of supply chain dependency in China, and then primary markets in North America and Europe. And he said, I went from being concerned about my supply to being concerned about my demand overnight. And I think you're going to see some global cycles that look like that, where there are waves where certain regions are doing better than others, and being able to manage through those is important. But I think you know, the biggest challenge to me in terms of manufacturers when things return to normal is going to be the slow return to face-to-face activity. I think even when sort of the government gives the all clear, there's going to be a lot of people that are tentative to go back to large gatherings and trade shows and things like that. And I think that you'll see a fundamental shift in a lot of things that would be considered non-essential face-to-face over to digital means, as people have found them to be effective and efficient. So that'd be my response to that one. And maybe I'll let Andrew chime in, and then we can answer the one on the direct commerce.
Yeah, the direct commerce, ramping it up and doing it right. You know, it brings me back to the slide I showed you guys around, you know, building resilience now so that when the sun comes up, you're moving. in why we call it as an e-commerce MVP site, you know, minimum viable product, you know, core products, core functionality, get it up in 8 to 12 weeks. There are technology platforms and solutions out there that can get you up and running. There is no such thing as getting it perfectly right. It is a agile, try it, get it up, try it, set of processes that, you know, retailers have been doing for over 15 years now effectively. And most manufacturers, I believe, on the other side of this, you know, pandemic period, are going to embrace it in even a much more aggressive way. So even if you get up 5 products and you start to learn some things and try some things, how will you do marketing? How will you do order fulfillment? How do you think about that whole process? I can't tell you how great of a setup you're going to have coming out of this in the hopefully the summer or the fall timeframe. That is our, you know, number 3 advice around getting MVP site up and running. Don't wait. Keep the go. Krista, I know we're at the time slot. I don't know if you have any more questions, but
yeah,
we can obviously do follow-ups with people as well.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Terrific.
On behalf of all
Thanks,
3
everyone.
of us and our team here, thanks so much. Krista, thanks for setting this up, and all of you guys stay healthy, stay well, and we'll be coming back with more communications on this stuff in the near future.